Hi everybody, Alex from SeemsGoodMagic.com here doing another Innistrad 8/4 block draft. We have a lot of directions we can go with this pack. It's pretty awesome. So we've got a choice of Vampire or Zombie Tribe with pretty good support both ways. The Highborn Ghoul, the Screeching Scab for the Zombie and the Death's Crest, and the Burden of Guilt. Pretty much I can go any direction I want to with this pack. So the question is, what direction do I want to go? It's also the token strategy. This is actually just a really good pack. It opens me up to a lot of different things. I mean, opening with removal is probably the wisest choice, but if I did open with removal, it would have to be the Burden of Guilt. I think I'm going to do a more interesting pick. I'm going to do the Diregraph Captain. I like drafting zombies when I can. So we'll see how well we can make this work. Well, I think the follow-up pick to that would have to be the Reap the Seagraph. Just get some value there. I don't have any problems with that. I think that's fine. So we'll pick the Reap the Seagraph. Okay, so now we have a couple choices here. We can do the Black Cat, which is a zombie. We can do the Thought Scour, which fills the graveyard for like Makeshift Mauler and Stitch Drakes and stuff, and gets you a little bit of value there. Or the Divination, which is just card draw, and I don't think we're going to go with that. So, I believe we're going to go with the Black Cat, actually. Black-Blue does not have a lot of common 1 and 2 3-drop creatures. So Black Cat's good for just making your opponent uninterested in attacking early, and lets you get to your late game. And Blue has the best late game creatures, in my opinion. Here I think we're pretty clearly picking the Briarpack Alpha just for a splash. This card, creature plus trick, can easily take over a game. And I'm much more interested in splashing for this than the Forge Devil or anything else in this pack, I think. So we're going to go with the Briarpack Alpha, who is very good. Okay, sweet. So we're in a good spot now. I can pick the Headless Scab, but I'm a little less interested in him than the Niblis of the Breath, which is actually a removal spell and an avoidance creature. So I think he's the best option for us. Well, if we're already splashing the Briarpack Alpha, I suppose we can splash for this Ghoul Tree as well, who is a zombie, but also just a decent creature, I think. Blue-Black has a lot of self-mill, or at least Blue has a lot of self-mill, so it shouldn't be too difficult to get a Ghoul Tree online. So we're already shaping up to be kind of an unusual deck, but I think that's fine. Alright, well, because we're doing this green thing now, that allows us to pick this. Well, I was going to say pick the Deadly Allure, but is that... Deadly Allure is pretty sweet with Black Cat. Force them to block, and then... I kind of like the value of this card. Do I like it more than Griptide? If we were like a little more aggro looking now, I'd probably be more inclined to pick this Griptide, which is a fine card, but I think I'm going to give Deadly Allure a try here. I'm a little more interested in that. So I'm going to value things like Evolving Wilds and Traveler's Amulet and Shimmering Grotto much higher than I normally would now, because we're obviously into green now. Whoops. Okay, so super late, Gather the Townsfolk, Loyal Cathar. Falconwrath Torture is fine for us. Gather the Townsfolk is just a really good card, but we've yet to pick a white pick. So I think I'm going to go with the Torture, which just has some fine interactions with things like Black Cat and triggering Morbid for our green. Well, Torture is a vampire, so I suppose I can pick the Chosen. I could also pick the Chant of the Skiff Saying, but I think the Chosen has a little more chance of actually killing our opponent if we manage to pick up some more vampires. Not a great chance that I'm playing this Haunted Fingraph, but I suppose I'll take it. Yeah, I guess we'll take a Hunger of the Howlpack. We can go deeper green if necessary. Green-black is fine, because it looks like we got cut on blue pretty hard. None of this is particularly good for us. I suppose I'll just take a Curse of Thirst for interest's sake. Even though we are getting cut on the blue, I like the Headless Scabs significantly more than the Sightless Ghoul, so I'll take that instead. And I suppose we'll take a Heavy Matic, but not much chance of us playing that. Alright, so we're in a pretty weird direction. I first picked a Captain, which is actually a pretty unusual first pick since it devotes you to 2 colors, but I figured I wanted to pick up a Lord and kind of see if I could get away with drafting that. Alright. Let's see. This pack actually has some pretty good stuff for us. We could go with the Interloper, which works well with the Chosen and Markov, but I'd like to see if I can make this Diagraph Captain work still. I mean, Moldergraph Monstrosity is fine as well. Just a big green dude, but I believe I'm more interested in this Makeshift Mauler, which is a zombie and just can kill an opponent, so I'm going to go with that. Could get the follow-up Mauler. Devil's Play being passed is highly unusual, just because it's so splashable, but since we're already kind of in a 3-color mess here, I don't think I'm going to be able to pick it. If I already had a Shimmering Grotto, or if I knew I was going to get a Shimmering Grotto, it would be much more realistic that I could take the Devil's Play, but I don't think that I can do that. I don't think it's guaranteed, and I would like to pick up another Makeshift Mauler. This card's very strong, very good. Is there anything else, though, that I'd like instead? I mean, Occultist would be very important, just for letting us self-mill a little bit. Interloper would fill our curve out a little bit better, give us something to beat in with, but it's not particularly interesting. I mean, I suppose it is good with Chosen. I'm going to go with another Mauler, just sort of pick those guys up while I can. I like them a lot. Alright, well, we got the Shimmering Grotto now, so I think I do have to pick that. Fortunately, we're not really passing much for it. Sensory Deprivation would actually be pretty highly playable in this deck, but Shimmering Grotto is going to be essential if we're going to make this 3-color nonsense work. Stromkirk Patrol, not particularly interesting, but not a ton of other stuff for us to do. I suppose Dissipate, but double any color now in this sort of 3-color deck is not going to be particularly good. I mean, Cellar Door is an option, but not one I like very much. But I think it's probably a better chance that we would be forced to play Cellar Door than play a Stromkirk Patrol. Either way, I hope I don't have to play either. Wow, a ton of good blue picks in here, but I think the Ghoul Raiser is going to be what we want. We already have the Black Cat, Captain, Headless, and double Makeshift Mauler, so I think that's the pick for us. I mean, Back from the Brink lets us... We don't even have any self-mill yet, so I suppose I will need the Sensory Deprivation, and this pulls creatures out of our graveyard, which isn't exactly what we want. Yeah, actually, I think I'd rather the Sensory Deprivation, just for that hyper aggro deck that most assuredly is going to be being played. Well, it's going to be tough to make Scab Goliath work. And actually, Ghoultree and Makeshift Maulers don't have a particularly good interaction either. So, I can focus on black-blue. So, I suppose I can pick the Scab Goliath, and I probably won't splash for the Ghoultree. Not sure. It's not like there's a ton else for us here. Corpse Lunge is an actual removal spell, which we're short on, but it doesn't interact well with our Makeshift Maulers. Okay, I guess I'll take a Scab Goliath. And we're really valuing... Alright, well now Typhoid Rats looks amazing in this deck since it allows us to do something early and fill our graveyard for Makeshift Mauler. So I'm going to pick that over the Traveler's Amulet now that we have the Shimmering Grotto. Typhoid Rats is going to be essential for a deck like this. And pretty easily picking the Invisible Stalker. This really shouldn't be going that late either. So this gives us time to pick up, we still have a whole nother pack to pick up something to abuse this. It also is something that we can just use the Chump Blocker, once again, fill our graveyard for this stuff. I mean, we're a little bit short on removal spells, so I suppose I can take the Rebuke. Now that we have a Shimmering Grotto, might be able to pick up another one. Pretty easily picking the Interloper, which has better interaction with the Chosen of Markov. Pretty happy that we tabled that as well. Brainweevil, I suppose, fills the graveyard, so I can do that. And I'm not going to play Stromkirk Patrol, I don't think so. I'll take a Stensia Bloodhaul, something that just rare draft there. I guess I'll take a Combat Trick and a sideboard card. Okay. Yeah, taking a Mountain. Alright, well, we open a Stensia Bloodhaul as our rare. Not going to take that, but why don't we look at what else we've got? I think we are going to go with the Silver Inlaid Dagger, just because it's so highly abusable with Invisible Stalker. Not really a ton else for us, to be honest, but I mean, Sensory Deprivation, another one. I'd be happy to run as many of these as possible since we do look like we're a little bit slow to get going, but we have good finishers. So I'm going to take the Dagger, which makes our little dudes look a little bit more impressive and makes our Stalker pretty much broken. So this deck is in desperate need of this Deranged Assistant since we have little to no self-mill. Lantern Spirit would also be fine, but we need this assistant really bad, so I'm going to take that. Okay, so we have some good options here. We have the Grasp and the Claustrophobia, but I think we are a little bit more interested in this Claustrophobia just because it's hard removal for our deck, and even though it is double color, I think it's going to be fine because we're going to just have a really light green splash. We're probably just splashing for the Briar Pack Alpha. I don't even know if we're going to be able to get away with the Ghoul Tree now. Possible, but not super likely. I need to start hiding non-playables here. Yeah, I'd like to hide that. Let's hide that Cellar Door. Deadly Lure is the other splash, which is one I'm fine with too, I think. It's actually pretty good with Manor Skeleton. Okay, so Grasp or Claustrophobia? Yeah, let's go with the Claustrophobia. I think I like it's double color, but I think it's just going to be better for us. Okay, do I have any token generation? I don't think so. Not really a ton of stuff to work with here. Spectral Flight, but I mean it's pretty good on a Makeshift Mauler, I would think. But I don't know if that's a direction I want to go. Don't want to do a double color splash, but is it so? I mean, the Priest. If I got, I mean, Shimmer Grotto is nice because it helps me fix for all of that nonsense, but I don't know if I'm gonna be wanting to go 4-color. But in that same respect, there's not really a ton else for us. So in case I see another Shimmering Grotto, maybe I'll pick up the Priest. Yeah, just not a ton for us here as well. I suppose the Prey Upon. Rotting Fensnake is a zombie, but another 4-drop is just not looking particularly good here. Prey Upon is good actually in our deck with Typhoid Rats since it'll kill a creature while still filling our graveyard for Makeshift Maulers and Headless Scab and stuff. But is there any other cheap creatures I can run? No, not really. I mean, we are short on removal. More splash? I suppose. Pick the Prey Upon over the Dark Thicket Wolf. Yeah, I'll pick the Prey Upon. Alright, we're picking the Traveler's Amulet here over the Ghoul Razor, just because I want to be able to fix very easily and well. So, yeah, we want the Traveler's Amulet. Alright, well, ooh, never mind. I was going to say slam the Victim at Night, but we're pretty clearly slamming this Murder of Crows, which is much later than I anticipated. It's not a Walking Corpse by any means, but it is a Murder of Crows, which is a bomb card. Alright, and we got a late Stitch Drake too, which I believe we are taking, even though we're particularly low on self-mill. We have, how many early creatures do we got? We have that, the Black Cat, Assistant, Stalker, Interloper. Yeah, we have enough early stuff, I think, where we can make this Stitch Drake work. And I may not even play the Headless Scab, I'm not sure yet. So I think we value this Sensory Deprivation more than others. It looks like our deck is going to be a deck that's going to take a while to set up. Suppose we can give some Graveyard Hate for the sideboard. Gnaw of the Bone's not particularly good in here since we're going to be plucking a lot of stuff out of our graveyard. So I'll take the Curse for sideboard. Actually, I'm going to take the Manor Skeleton here just because Deadly Allure and that are kind of interesting together. Yeah, I guess now I'll take a Spectral Flight, which I don't think I'm playing. And I don't think I'm playing this either. Once again, just taking too much stuff out of our graveyard, so... Am I going to make this 4-color? I don't believe so, although the white options are actually pretty good for us. I mean, they are something that we could use. I don't believe I'm going to be making Ghoul Tree work, but you just never know. It's possible. All in all, this deck is, I don't know, it's kind of weird actually. It's not particularly powerful, but it's got some cool synergies, and there's stuff that could make this deck work. I mean, this deck could easily get some good draws since we have the Stalker and the Silver Inlaid Dagger and just win off of that. But let me build something kind of quick here and we'll see what we can make. Okay, so put this together, and actually I still have to add my Shimmering Grotto. But let's see, the plan so far is to well, kill them with Murder of Crows, Makeshift Maulers, and Stitch Drake, pretty much, as our kill cons. Also have the chance of doing Invisible Stalker with the Silver Inlaid Dagger, or the Spectral Flight on the Invisible Stalker. So I am running Spectral Flight in this deck. I feel like on a Headless Scab or a Makeshift Mauler, it's pretty ridiculous too. We are running like semi-playables like Chosen of Markov, even though we only have the Interloper and the Torturer to flip it. But Torture is actually really important in this deck since we have almost no ways to fill our graveyard with creatures. The only ways being, let's see, Assistant, and I think that might actually be it. Yeah, we did not get a lot of self-mill, but fortunately I don't think it's a huge deal because we still have a few early creatures that we can play and stuff that we don't care if it dies, so we have ways to fill our graveyard. And the nice thing is, like, all of these fill for each other too, so if you play one and it dies, at least you get to play another one. So these cards can very easily take over the game, which is nice. This deck is kind of weird though. It's definitely a weird deck. I'll definitely say that. I'll give it that. I think I cut an island for the Shimmering Grotto, and I think I'd actually prefer to cut a swamp, I believe. So I'd run 5 swamps. I've got the Traveler's Amulet and the Shimmering Grotto, so it's really like 7 black sources. And then I've got the, let's see, 3, 6, 9 islands, so 10 with the Shimmering Grotto, 11 with the Traveler's Amulet. That should be enough. And then 3 green sources with the Shimmering Grotto, Forest, and Traveler's Amulet. And, I mean, there's a chance that we self-mill the Forest with like a Drainage Assistant, but I'm not really worried about that. Even if that happens, we still have the Shimmering Grotto, so not a very good chance that we straight up can't play our green. And the only thing that we need green for is this Briarpack Alpha, the Prey Upon, and the Flashback on the Deadly Lure. So this is the first time I've gotten the opportunity to play this card too. I'm kind of excited to see what that can do. That I can see that being real good with like Reap the Seagraph and Black Cat. and I don't know, even like Deranged Assistant and other weird cards like that. I guess it does not have very good interaction with the sensory deprivations, but that's okay. I think sensory deprivation is just going to be there to buy us some time to get to our sick top end that we have. This deck's power level is relatively low, not very much removal at all, but I'm interested in seeing how it does. I don't anticipate this deck winning just because it doesn't have a lot of high power level in it, but who knows? It could be a miraculous thing and win, so I'll see you in round 1. Wish me luck.